Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a 2023 Chevy Suburban with the Duramax powertrain. First and foremost, though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Chevy here in Provo, Utah, for giving me some time with this Suburban. I'm going to include a link to their inventory in the description down below. You can check out what they have currently, and if you want to order one of these bad boys, definitely reach out to them. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So under the hood, we have a 3-liter inline 6 paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission that I call the Baby Duramax. Now, average fuel economy is going to be somewhere in the mid-20s. Power outputs are 277 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. This does not yet have the new version of this engine, which will have over 300 horsepower and almost 500 pound-feet of torque, but this setup is still really solid. Now let's go over the front end of this Suburban. So first off, what you guys will notice here is we've got these distinctive lines on either side of the hood. And then coming down below, notice with the LED lights and then the daytime running light. And then we do have some blacked out accenting here off to the side. And then massive chrome front grille here with the Chevy bow tie front and center. We do have parking sensors here on the front end as well. And then there's also a camera there below the Chevy bow tie. And yeah, especially in white, I think this just looks really good. Coming around the side here, our tire and wheel setup is 275/60/20 in the front and over in the rear. And then you guys will notice we've got the chrome wheels, which matches the chrome accenting on the rest of this Suburban. And then here's a quick look at the front suspension. And then I love how this is molded for the fender. I think that looks really attractive. We've got our Suburban badge there in chrome, also more chrome on the mirrors, on the door handles, and then on the roof rails. This does have fixed side steps, and then here's your full side view with the Suburban. So here's our key fob. We have our unlock function, our lock function, remote start, the opening for the hatch, and then the opening for just the window. If you press this a couple times, that will pop open the hatch, and we will see a big benefit of the Suburban, and that is the fact that we have these beautiful metallic plaques. No, that's the fact that you have tons of storage space behind the third row with the third row folded up. Now we have a bunch of controls to make even more storage space, basically. So this lowers down the second row. You have to raise it up yourself. This lowers and raises the third row automatically. So look how fast that is. And then if I want to back up, again, super efficient, which is fantastic. And then notice storage space underneath. And well, when you're all done, all you gotta do is just press this button here at the top, and it'll pop back down. Now let's finish things up with the rest of the rear. So our payload capacity is 1,490 pounds, and then our towing capacity is 7,800 pounds with this diesel Suburban, and that's what the door jamb sticker says. So notice here with the taillights how it kind of mimics the Chevy bow tie, and then you've got more chrome trim here, and then another Chevy bow tie Suburban down below. And then of course we gotta have our Duramax badge. This is a very popular powertrain for Chevy right now with this vehicle, and then also with the half-ton trucks. Premier badge over on the other side, bunch of parking sensors down below, and notice how we don't have like the aggressive exhaust tips that you normally see on the Suburban and the Tahoe with the Duramax, because obviously it doesn't need them. Now popping inside here, you can see with the padding at the top and the contrasted stitching, notice the wood trim down below, and then more padding perforated here at the very bottom portion, which I think looks fantastic. One of the speakers for the Bose sound system, and then we have our Chevrolet logo right there. And then here are these seats. So this one has the bench seat configuration, as you can see. Notice the piping here on it, and then the contrasted stitching perforated all down the center of the seat. And again, we got the side step, which helps out with getting in, so you just use that. And then there also is a grab handle so that you can just kind of pop onto the seat. There's legroom, there's headroom. Notice we got some vents here at the top, which is great. Cup holders, we've got our own climate controls here for the rear. We also have heated seats for the second row. And then of course we gotta have our cup holder armrest set up. And then as for the third row, notice that the seats are perforated just like the second row, which is really cool, actually. They have some cup holders back there, and you can comfortably fit adults in the back. They've got plenty of headroom and legroom, as you guys can see there at the top, and then also down below right there. And, well, actually, before we head to the front, I forgot to show you guys one last thing. These are the controls here on the side of the seat so you can access the third row. So notice that you can pull this twice and then it folds that down, and then you can pretty much just like climb right over the seat into the third row, which yeah, there you go. Now here's the door panel at the front. Notice again with the padding and the wood trim down below, and then all of the leather trim, and then again perforated here at the very bottom portion of the armrest section there on the door panel. We've got all of our window controls here. Front two are automatic. We do have memory seats on top of that. The mirrors do power fold in. They also have blind spot monitoring, and then another speaker for that Bose sound system. Chevrolet logo yet again. And then here are the front seats. So again, we've got the piping on the outside, and then it's perforated down the center of the seats. And then you've got your power adjustments right there. Pedal layout. And we do have our light controls right here. We have our drive mode select and our drive line select. So we've got our auto 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, and then 4-wheel low. So this does have a 2-speed transfer case. That's for your parking brake. This is for the lane departure to turn that on or off. Stability control, same situation. Hill descent, parking sensors. And then this is for the 360 camera system. Your auto stop start, that is for the heads-up display with the adjustment. Steering wheel is power adjustable. Let's pop in. Here's the steering wheel for this Suburban, so really nice padding all around, and then you've got the stitching there on the center portion. All of our controls here for the center stack, voice command, phone controls. Of course, we've got the normal Chevy bow tie there in the center. We do have our cruise control with our heated steering wheel button there. Pretty cool. And then there are radio controls here on the back of the steering wheel. We have our turn signal / windshield wiper stock, and there's the steering wheel. We have our full digital gauge cluster here with the Suburban. Now we can scroll through some different menus here in the center portion, like navigation, for example. We're gonna just go over vehicle information. You can see like the tire PSI, oil life, all of that. Even brake pad life, that's pretty cool. These cars are getting pretty advanced. And then how much diesel exhaust fluid you have left, right? And notice here, we have almost 700 miles of range in a tank. Now, I do need to mention, this is a brand new car. Powertrain hasn't been broken in yet. And so obviously we don't have like accurate fuel economy readings or anything for this. But if we assume that you can get about, let's say, mid-20s for your fuel economy, 25 miles per gallon, and this is a 28-gallon fuel tank, then yeah, that's 700 miles of range, which I understand that the price of diesel is a little bit more than the price of gas right now, but still. Moving on, we have some drive modes. So we have a sport. Notice we have a graphic and we change the drive modes. We have an off-road, and then we have a tow haul mode as well, which will turn on the, notice when I went into the tow haul mode, automatically turns on the diesel exhaust brake. It says right there, which is awesome. And other than that, there's the center. Now here's the infotainment screen. So first off, if I pop it into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Notice we have a bird's eye view as well, and then we can see out of a bunch of different angles here with the Suburban. It is just absolutely fantastic from a camera system perspective. Now moving on from that to the rest of the infotainment system, we have a shortcut bar here on the side, so I can press that for the home screen, for example. Notice we do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay with this, and overall response time on the screen is great. It's really easy to use. I like that it's so user-friendly, and guess what? Our camera button actually does camera stuff. Now there's that 360 button, you guys remember? That just pulls on the camera. So like, there's two different ways to access the camera system. You can press that camera 360 button, or you can press this on the infotainment system, or you can pop it into reverse. So I guess, yeah, 3 different ways. Pretty crazy. We have our gear selector right here, so it's buttons, and it's like little tabs that you press and pull, so it's definitely interesting overall. And I love how you've got like the perforated trim around that. And then notice again with the nice padding, and then look at that, got some storage space inside there with a little hazard light button. And then down below here, we've got our analog controls for the radio, and then our analog climate controls. So notice that I can actually control the rear climate system if I want. Just press that button right there, or, and by the way, it'll pop up on the screen, or I can turn off the rear climate just with that button right there. And then this controls the front climate system. We do have heated and cooled seats for the front with this Premier package, and then wireless phone charging pad, couple of cup holders. And then here's the center console. Notice with all of the trim, there's like padding. There is some storage space right there, by the way. But I think they did a really good job with the material use throughout. Big center console. And then pretty big glove box as well. I love how this is all perforated across with the dash, and then there's some wood trim, and then nice padding here at the rest, or the top portion of the dash rather. And then we do have the camera mirror, which is always important. Now, something that I find interesting is this is pretty much a loaded up Suburban, but it doesn't have a sunroof. So like it has every feature except for the sunroof. And then this is just for the hatch to open that. That's for the seats to lower those down, and then universal garage door openers, and that's all for the top. Now this particular Suburban was just cleaned up, and so the window sticker was pulled out, so I can't show that to you guys because, well, obviously it's not in here. But anyways, this is a Premier with the Duramax, and given the fact that this is loaded up with pretty much every single option, I think it's pretty safe to assume that the MSRP is probably somewhere in like the $80,000, maybe like high 70s, low 80s, somewhere in that range from a price perspective. Let me know if I'm off in the comment section down below, but I'm pretty sure that's right around where it is. Now that's pretty much going to sum things up for our video on this Suburban Premier with the Duramax diesel, and I just want to quickly close with some thoughts on this. I think that this is by far the coolest family hauler on the market, and here's the deal. There's a lot of other full-size SUVs on the market that have similar features to this and frankly are similarly affordable. If you look at like the new Jeep Wagoneer, for example, you can get one with just as many interior features that is just as comfortable. But the thing that really differentiates this compared to the competition is the fact that it does have a diesel powertrain available here in the US market, and on top of that, it's a diesel powertrain that's extremely efficient. I mean, if you think about it, every other SUV in this segment, you're getting, you know, mid-teens basically from a fuel economy perspective. And so with this being able to get pretty much 10 miles per gallon better, yes, I understand that diesel is more expensive. So I understand that once you take into account the whole like cost difference and everything, that you're not necessarily saving a massive amount of money, but at the same time, having that extra fuel range on long family trips and everything, I think that is definitely key, not having to stop all the time for gas. I mean, literally, like, I could take this and go to Vegas and not have to fill up once. Like, that's pretty cool. I know that Vegas is probably not everyone's, like, go-to destination, but the point that I'm trying to make is I think that this is the best powertrain in this particular segment, and other automakers need to catch up to what Chevy's doing. Anyways, a huge shout out and thank you to the Lurch Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with this Suburban. Check out the Tron in the description down below. I'll see you.